The Gospels contain a story of Jesus calming a storm. Let's look at Matthew's version, where we can observe several significant details. In calming the storm, Jesus demonstrates power over the waters, just like God in the Old Testament. You rule the raging of the sea. When its waves rise, you still them. And there are some other references if you'd like to check out similar verses. Jesus is urged to awaken, just like God in the Old Testament. And they went and woke him, saying, "Save us, Lord, we are perishing." And from Psalm 44, "Awake, why are you sleeping, O Lord? Rouse yourself. Do not reject us forever." Jesus rebukes the waters, just like God in the Old Testament. Then he rose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was great calm. From Psalm 18, "Then the channels of the sea were seen, and the foundations of the world were laid bare at your rebuke, O Lord." And yes, there's that curious detail that Jesus was sleeping. And behold, there arose a great storm on the sea, so that the boat was being swamped by the waves. But Jesus was asleep. About this detail, many commentators will point to Matthew 8:16 and the surrounding chronology of the Gospels. The people had to wait until evening to bring the sick to Jesus, since it was the Sabbath. This likely lasted late into the evening or even into the night, and would have been very tiring. However, given this is the only mention of Jesus sleeping in the New Testament, and it occurs in a context saturated with Old Testament imagery, it's wise to look to the Old Testament to see if there is some reason that Matthew included this detail. Bernard Bateau writes, "To judge from the literature of the ancient Near East, the motif of the sleeping deity actually involves several related concepts, which, for convenience, may be grouped under two headings. A. Rest as a divine prerogative, and B. Sleeping as a symbol of divine rule." You're probably recalling now God resting after creation. This is an ancient Near Eastern expression that reflects the sovereignty and the rule of the deity. Bateau continues, "Further, the explicit portrayal of the Creator sleeping functioned as a statement of the deity's status as the supreme ruler of heaven and earth. The ability to sleep undisturbed was the symbol of the deity's absolute dominion over the heavens and the earth and the underworld." He continues, "The final stage in the biblical adaptation of the motif of the sleeping deity comes in the New Testament story of Jesus calming the sea. This incident is found in all three synoptic gospels. From the manner in which the evangelists shaped these stories using traditional biblical language and images of divine activity, it is evident that they regarded both stories as epiphanic, that is, as manifesting the divine presence. The matter of Jesus sleeping on the storming sea must be interpreted within this epiphanic context. Matthew included the detail about Jesus sleeping so that readers would recall the sleeping deity motif already found in the Hebrew Bible. Quoting Isaiah, Matthew writes, "Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel," which means God with us. As is typical in ancient Near Eastern literature, a name is much more than simply what one is called. Leon Morris draws the obvious conclusion. Matthew surely intends his readers to understand that Emmanuel was his name in the sense that all that was involved in that name found its fulfillment in him. Matthew began his gospel by saying that Jesus is God with us. At various points throughout his gospel, he tells us what that looked like. The calming of the storm is one such example. Matthew portrays Jesus as the sleeping deity, expressing his sovereignty even over the waters of chaos. Thanks for watching.